again. Am I live? Is it working? Are you guys here? Wow. Always an adventure with the technology. Anyway, I just wanted to come on and wish my viewers a very Merry Christmas. It's just getting to be about 1 o'clock in the morning, so Santa's on his way, or maybe he's already hit you up. Who knows? We've got the cookies out, the carrots and the celery, because he, he's got to be healthy and eat his veggies just like the rest of us. Actually, my daughter, she insists that we feed the reindeer as well as Santa. So I was trying to do a live a few minutes ago. Oh my goodness, look at all those hearts. Somebody is out there, unless that's just more of the issues with the technology. I hope that that's somebody hitting that heart button. So I came on 20 minutes ago and it was doing stuff that it's never done. Oh, there we go. Patty Hall, Merry Christmas. Let's see, live chat. Thank you for coming on and saying Merry Christmas. Patty Hall, New York. Is it NY for New York? It's me. Yay, awesome. Nice to see you. How are you doing tonight? I hope you're having a nice Christmas. It's a stressful time. I mean, I kind of love Christmas, but it's a lot of pressure. Bunny Murphy, oh, thank you for your heart. Back at ya. There we go. There's a better heart. So yeah, I really just wanted to come on and say hello, and I have some breaking news. No, I'm just kidding. I am just, the last few days have been hard not being able to do the YouTube because it's my therapy. You guys are good for me. You keep me in check. And I love talking about the cases. I love getting the updates and giving the updates of new ideas that I've had. And the last few days, I've just, I've been too busy to do any of that. And I've just been kind of reviewing the whole idea of YouTube, right? And I love it. I absolutely love it. And it also has a lot of propensity to be ridiculous. Let's just get real, right? I haven't watched you in 9 months since Kylie. Oh my goodness. Wow. That's amazing. So yeah, so sad that nothing's really happened in her case. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. I mean, there's been a lot, but you know what I mean. Not really. Excuse me while I guzzle some water. It's really sad to me, all of the back and forth and rigmarole, and people trying to make a name for themselves, people trying to make money off of a tragedy like that. I really didn't expect to be getting a lot of viewers when I started my channel a year and 4 or 5 months ago. I just felt like I needed to get things off my chest, and I am proud to say I haven't made a dime off my YouTube channel. I have been spending a lot of money on it, actually, and I enjoy it, and I don't mind that I'm spending money on it. That's it's like a hobby, really, I guess, is one way to look at it. It is definitely a creative outlet, and I say it again and again, I feel like it's my therapy. Making the videos, I like to watch other people's videos too, but I like to get content that I feel like is valuable, and I don't feel like there's a whole lot of meaningful content on the interwebs. It's kind of sad, but it's also to be expected. I think television is the same way, and there are a lot of amazing content creators that have really worked hard and put a lot into their channels. And, I'm constantly giving shout outs to the ones that I admire and that I aspire to. And that ebbs and flows, that changes. But you guys know my big ones are Paula Plunder, What's the Obsession, True Crime Rocket Science, Squirrels on Fire, Ara, and a bunch of others. I really enjoy Mark Molina. He does a very simple, straightforward show that always has something substantial in it for me from my perspective. And everything I say is my perspective only. And where's my like button? Here we go. See, I'm not doing anything right. Please hit that like button if you'd be so kind. It's always good. So, I was about to say that I remember you for not wanting money and for celebrating CNY. CNY is, how shall I say? I'm wondering what's going on with that channel right now with the most recent, I want to say, allegation that there's some tape that somebody was wandering around at the August 9th presser with a tape recorder in their pocket and picking up different pieces of various conversations. And that tape was shared with CNY allegedly and shared with law enforcement allegedly. And I have a really hard time with the whole thing. I'm just like, of course it's shared with law enforcement if it exists. And if it exists, I don't feel like we should be talking about it on YouTube. If it doesn't exist, I would say that pretending that it does could be construed as interference with the investigation. And I'm just not trusting it. I don't trust the information at all. So I'm very skeptical of why that channel went ahead and put that out when it hasn't been verified. Because, like I said, if it is true and accurate, it should just go to law enforcement and let it be. And if it's not true and accurate, it should still go to law enforcement. And then I have an issue with it. So, it's rough. I don't like to criticize other channels, but I feel like it's not only a responsibility as a content creator, I feel like it's a responsibility as a content viewer to speak your truth. So for me, that's my truth. CNY is one of the channels that inspired me to get started, for sure. Oh, rapper. My goodness. Let's see. I think, I don't really know who you are, and I'm just going to put you in a timeout because I don't know if you're just trying to be rude or what, but yeah, thank you. Goodbye. Merry Christmas. Hope your special day with your family is great. I am in Colorado Springs and it snowed all day last night. I am Bluestone and Toby Toes. And yeah, so I don't know what gotcha means, Patty Hall. Anyway, I don't know where my normal people are, and I'm going to just go ahead. I gave you a warning, so there you go, rapper. See ya. How rude. I don't know who Rapper is. I think they came on a few days ago and Shan was talking to them that they're like a regular on MC Ultra's channel. Wow. The trolls. I haven't been trolled in a while. And, what a lovely way for anybody to interact with the world on Christmas Eve or Christmas morning as it is now. I just feel like this platform has a lot of potential to do a lot of good. So I'm sticking with it despite the fact that there's a lot of BS. Hey CB, so nice to see you. I was just getting harassed by some handle name Rapper. I think Rapper came on the other day and Shan was talking directly to them. Patricia Moss says, hey, hi Jazz. Wow, I actually caught a live, just arrived. Wish I got here sooner. Oh, we only just started, Patricia, and all we've done is had a little harassment from some handle name Rapper, basically. Katie Bug, hello, Merry Christmas. So yay, we've got friends, we've got nice people. Yeah, I just couldn't go another day without my peeps. Sunset Salty Sage. Man, what is it today? Monday, Sunday night, Monday morning. And my last video was Thursday. So yeah, like 3 days is like my max. And here we are, Christmas Eve, and I'm just like, I gotta get on and say hello to my folks. If you guys want to talk about the cases, we sure can. Do you watch? No, I've never heard of that channel. I watch her all the time. I love live, so I'm glad you're on now. I don't, Salar Cal? Never heard of it. And I don't have a pen and paper, or do I? I might. It looks like a pen. It looks like paper. I was just coming on, kind of free forming it, free falling. I'm going to try to write that channel down because it's a very unusual name, isn't it? And of course, the pen won't work. That is always the case. I mean, finding a pen and finding paper right next to me is rare, believe it or not. It's always a challenge. Interesting. I will check out that channel. So yeah, there's some really awesome channels out there, and I enjoy finding new ones. I enjoy going back to old ones. Oh, Danielle Salinger has Phil with dementia. So funny. Huh. Interesting. Is it just like comedy? Dan, yo. Salinger is my favorite author, you guys. I could go on and on about J.D. Salinger. Not a name you hear very often. Father-in-law. J.D. Salinger is Danielle Salinger's father-in-law. Are you kidding me? Patty Hall, like that would be the coolest Christmas gift. Just to, I don't know. You never get any news about J.D. Salinger or any information at all. I mean, he's just a complete recluse. So they are related. How cool is that? Well, thank you for the gift. I will definitely check out Danielle Salinger. That's awesome. Too cool. So the cases, the Kylie Rodney case, the Idaho 4 case, the Maui case, the Maui case is really blowing up right now. They just had the town hall meeting where the town council voted to dump all of the debris from the fires into that porous cone that is called PELE'S womb. It's kind of crazy that they're doing this. I can't imagine the aftermath. The Chernobyl, Maui Chernobyl, Hawaii Chernobyl is a phrase that Eric West from Hawaii Real Estate coined in one of his videos last week, and I'm afraid that that's where it's going. JD is cousins of Danielle. Very cool. Cosmice Empress? Cosmic Empress. See, I love mice, so I saw mice in there. Hi, yeah, all Merry Christmas to all, absolutely. Um, yeah, is Salinger still alive? I don't even know. I would think that he might have passed by now, huh? And was he or wasn't he a professor in New England for a while after he published? I think he only published the 4 books. I don't know. A very interesting fella. Extremely interesting and very much ahead of his time. The Catcher in the Rye, that's my all-time favorite book, and it's a very depressing book, but I think one of the things I like about it actually ties in with what I'm talking about here on YouTube, and just the last few days kind of reflecting on what I'm doing on YouTube. um, and what I really dislike about YouTube is when people are posers or basically phonies. And that's what J.D. Salinger really hits on in the Catcher in the Rye. That's basically what the story is all about, is how much Holden Caulfield hates phonies, and how, in his opinion, children are authentic, and then they're trained to become phony as they grow up, and then prostitute themselves out to the world, whether that's in a form of writing or teaching or whatever it is. He just calls it prostituting yourself out to the world. I think it's kind of hilarious. Just got finished doing reindeer feed and milk and cookies for Santa Bug. And now my niece is asleep, so glad you're on. I get a rest for a bit. Don't you know Mrs. G, aka Divine Justice? I don't know her, but I know her on YouTube, and I love her. She's awesome. Um, so yeah, I mean, I know her through the Squirrel Squad, so I feel like I know her, but that's about it. Um, but yeah, she does really good work. She's one of the channels that I love. A very hard channel to keep up with because she's on a lot. She's on live a lot, and I love tuning in when I can. She's amazing. And she's just hammering away at MC Ultra, which I think is very warranted. I'm glad she's doing it. Um, let's see. Hello, Sharon Kenny, Outdoorsy Life. Hello. Yes, she's my girl. Oh, very cool. Yeah. She's hilarious. I love her. And I love just how dedicated she is to Kylie. And with the Squirrel Squad is the dedication to Kylie. And there's people, I think, that don't affiliate or associate themselves with the Squirrel Squad that also dedicate themselves to Kylie. And anybody who is in pursuit of justice for Kylie, I am down with that. I think it's really cool how Shan has built a little community around herself and her channel, and I really admire that for her, and I feel very honored to be able to consider myself a part of it. So yeah, she did a really good live the other night, Friday night, and so that was the last YouTube that I was on, and it was hilarious because I was struggling to stay awake, but I did. I mostly stayed awake. I was definitely snoozing at some points in time, which I reviewed the tape just to see if she was like trying to talk to me and I was snoring, but no, she said if I had been, she would have muted it. But there were a few times where she tried asking me questions and it was obvious that I was sleeping. So when I woke back up, it was good that I was completely honest and copped to it immediately. Like, yeah, I'm struggling. But off and on, asleep and awake, I did stay on until the very end once I got on there. So her fierce and passionate is something else. So yes, and I think you're talking about Divine Justice, aka Mrs. G, the honey badger, but also Shan. She is very fierce and passionate in her demeanor and her approach to dealing with the case. So yeah, I sure hope that no one is confabulating fake information for the case. Like I feel like that's what happened with the fire cam. I feel like that's happened a few times in this case. I feel like that's happened with the Idaho 4 case. And the gaslighting, that word gets so overplayed. But just the fake information, the misleading. I mean, that's where it really feels like a psyop, in my opinion. And everything I say is simply my opinion for the sake of conversation, hoping to open up a discussion, learn something, be educational perhaps. And all my videos are made for YouTube. It's an entertainment platform. I'm just amazed looking at my my stats. I'm coming up on my 500th video. Also getting close to about 750,000 views. So I'm very grateful to have been received like that, well received in my opinion. You know, I'm not a huge channel, but I'm here. So that's what matters to me. I just really feel privileged to be on here and to have you guys here. So thank you. And I think it's important to keep your feet on the ground and speak your truth. I mean, that's all we can do. And I've been critical recently of some channels and some information, and I don't like being vocal like that on my channel, but at the same time, I feel like it's a responsibility. And like I said, not just for content creators, but for viewers too. I think it's important to, it was Innocent Until. That's a channel that's newer to me that I really like. And he did a video a week or so ago about that, about how we all need to hold YouTube to a higher standard. And by YouTube, I mean us. I don't mean like the entity of YouTube. I just mean the content on YouTube. It's up to us to make sure that it's worthy and that it's of a certain caliber. It doesn't have to be trash. I feel like a lot of people think that social media is not real life and that it's fine just to be a goofball and trashy. And you know, if you want to be a goofball and trashy, that's your prerogative, but I don't think it's necessarily a good place to do that. Let's see. I think it can be extremely destructive. Yes, both are for sure. And then we have you, but you are focusing on several crimes at a time, right? I never used to enjoy TC, but I'm 1,000% hooked on it since the CW, aka the Christopher Lee Watts case. Yeah, I do focus on several cases at once usually. Sometimes it's just one case. Oh, Katie Bug, you're cute. You've come a long way. Merry Christmas, Jazz, Rebecca, and all of you in chat. And Cosmic Empress, I love that handle, says, I've actually been subscribing to your YouTube channel for a long time. I usually just don't talk much. Aw. You're allowed to speak your mind, CB. And yeah, we want people to speak your minds. Yeah, there's been a lot going on with the Watts case too, with Cherylyn Cadle putting a new book out. I think it was a couple months ago now. But yeah, it's been kicking up a lot. And Real Justice has been putting out some really odd material on it. I have been appalled. quite frankly. I liked Real Justice. I thought that that was a good channel with good information. There was a couple things that I had questioned in the Kylie Rodney case, like the last video they made, and they put in some real crude information that didn't seem accurate, and also then they went radio silent, and I thought that was kind of odd. But now they're coming out with some Watts stuff just in the last few days, and saying that Nicole Atkinson and Christopher Watts were having an affair, and that's freaking ludicrous. That is out of control. Like, at first I thought they were just confused and saying Atkinson instead of Kessinger, you know, because there's so many Nicoles and Nicks in that case, just like there's so many Jacks in Idaho 4, so many Nates in Kylie Rodney case. But yeah, he's straight up accusing the friend Nicole Atkinson of having an affair with Chris, and that seems like the furthest thing from reality, just completely left field. And I'm just like, why are they even doing this? I hope my sound is okay. I have my AirPod in. Let's see, where is Mark? Yeah, let's see. I missed a little bit here. Dang it, Nancy. Hello. Amen, sister. Stay true to yourself. That's why you're such an inspiration. Happy holidays. God bless you and your family. Oh, thank you, sweetie. That's so nice. It's just cool that you never wanted money, so you're doing a good thing. It's totally cool that people make money, and I get tons of good info from money YouTubers. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that it's a bad thing to be making money on YouTube. I think it's a bad thing to be a sellout. And if you are directing your content to get the money, that's not going to be the kind of content that I want to watch. There's channels like Christina Randall is a good example. That's one that's huge. She's making all kinds of money, and she does a really good job. And I think that she's very educational, and she's very well educated, not formally educated, and that's cool. Like, real life experience is the best education any of us can get, in my opinion. So where is Mark? This can't be happening. When do they plan to destroy our Mother Earth? I don't understand. This can't be happening. How can we stop this? How can any group of people make a decision like this? You must be talking about the Hawaii, the ash, the toxic waste into PELE'S womb. It is freaking crazy. I know. Unbelievable. So let's see. I feel the same way, Patricia. It's horrible. Absolutely horrible. And let's see, Nicole Atkinson was Shanann's best friend and neighbor. Right, not next door neighbor. They lived, I think, on the other side of town, but she was definitely Shanann's best friend, and I credit her with the case getting resolved so quickly, even though I don't think it has ever been resolved with the full truth. I think that it's all still a pack of lies, and that's unfortunate, because I think there's other parties that need justice. Sounds great on my side. Good, thanks for letting me know, Katie Bug. Tiff, justice for Kylie, exactly. And Patty Hall, everyone saying hi. Sorry, spelled wrong. No problem. So yeah, I mean, Nicole Atkinson, I even private messaged her years ago and just expressed my sorrow for her loss. You know, she battled cancer too, right after losing her best friend. And, you know, I mean, her and Shanann were so tight, and she did such an amazing job of helping law enforcement and helping Shanann, basically, even in Shanann's demise. so for this channel, Real Justice, who I think has some street cred, and for them to be putting this information out as if it's fact is out of control. Like, are they just trying to make money? Are they trying to muddy the water? Are they trying to do a favor for the other Nicole? Um, I mean, she's guilty of a lot, in my opinion. And, you know, those other monkey wrenches that were thrown into the case, like the woman who said that she had dated Chris Watts, like one time met up with him in a Chick-fil-A parking lot, like a Tinder date, and then that other guy that said, I think that he might have met Chris Watts. He said, I don't believe it. He said that he met Chris Watts through Tinder and that they had this ongoing affair. And I think that both of those people were completely lying, but at least the guy, Trent Bolt, I think is his name, and he has affiliation with Nicole Kessinger. So it's my opinion that those two people threw themselves into the mix to try to help diffuse the intensity of the attention on Nicole, to make it look like, oh, Chris had all kinds of lovers, you know. Yeah, right. I mean, come on. The man was extremely dependent on other people, and he didn't make decisions for himself. But something that came up, one sec. I'm having extreme cotton mouth as I'm talking. Something that came up in the Cherylyn Cadle new book that I've heard some of these channels reviewing is, and I haven't read it, is that Chris's mother and said that his, apparently, allegedly, told Cherylyn Cadle that his sister had accidentally smashed his head in the car door when he was young, like maybe 7 years old. And it sounded like a very extreme incident and a very extreme injury. And it was mentioned in the context of perhaps he got a head injury that diminished his ability to have compassion and empathy, and perhaps that head injury is partially to explain of how this could have ever happened. And I thought that that was a fascinating piece of information, because I've always thought of him as kind of a Rain Man kind of guy. I mean, this is something I really want to say about that case, actually. I'm glad that we brought it up, and I'll rewind and make sure I catch what you guys are saying. I do not think, I just had this thought the last few days in reviewing some of the content that other channels have been making. Amber Truthseeker is one that I've been paying attention to, so it might have been while I was watching hers, that I do not believe that those little babies were living, were still breathing when he drove to Survey 319, because that man is very routine oriented, and his story is that he had them sitting on the back seat. I can't believe I never thought of this. And that, I don't even know if he said that they had seatbelts on, but they're little kids. They have car seats. I mean, they were 3 years old and 4 years old. And the way that man was, he was so rigid with the way he did things. Everything had to be done a certain way. I mean, Shanann was like that too. That's probably why they made a good pair for a while, right? But I do not believe that he would have driven those two girls unbuckled, just simply because of his personality and that type of obsessive compulsive behavior. So I just don't buy that at all. I don't know if they were in the cab of the car, or if somebody, or the cab of the pickup truck, or if somebody else might have had them transporting. But yeah, they would have all that information from the black box, basically, of his work vehicle. The other thing is for him to put, and trigger warning, trigger alert, for him to put the deceased family members in his work truck is very hard to believe, again, with his obsessive, compulsive, rigid, habitual type of personality. It's hard for me to believe that he even put Shanann in there on the floor in the back seat, but it sounds like he did. Yeah, that whole, every story he's told about that is just hogwash, in my opinion. Kylie Rodney did not drive into Prosser. CB, I like that tag. Absolutely. Dang it, Nancy says, do you think that Peterson and Watts case is related in some kind of dark way? Scott Peterson? I did pay a lot of attention to the Scott Peterson case. I mean, I don't know if I would say related, but similar in that both of the both Shanann and Lacey were pregnant with little boys. Just awful. Absolutely awful. Love you, Jazz. Merry Christmas. God bless. So much love and respect. Oh, you're so nice. Seeking truth. Thank you, Tiff. Absolutely. Yeah, those lips are out of control. And by the way, is it okay if I put out the Hawaiian Real Estate's link to their latest petition to protect Maui, the spilling of certain unmentionable things in the sea? The barrier reef there will be ruined. Absolutely. And I will put a link to that in the description too, Cosmic Empress, because yeah, I watch a lot of Hawaii Real Estate's videos, and I haven't caught all of the videos that he's done the last few days. I have been extremely busy with all the Christmas stuff, but I have caught some of them, and yeah, that's very well received by me for sure. Kylie Rodney matters. No water in the lungs. Kylie Rodney deserves justice. And Patty Hall, wait, who? Head injury? Chris Watts, that he got his head slammed in a car door when he was 7 years old by his sister. And Cherylyn Cadle mentions this in the second book that she wrote just recently about the Watts case, and said that in conversations with, I think, is it Sandy Watts, the mother of Chris, that she mentioned it to Cherylyn, and in the context of, she wonders if it could have had some odd lasting effects. And yeah, head injuries are very mysterious, and it's entirely possible, in my opinion. I want to be careful to say that I don't think that that gives any kind of leeway as far as doing what he did is still absolutely atrocious. It's no excuse, but it is something that kind of helps it to make sense, because obviously that whole thing is never going to make sense. Didn't they say he has a photographic memory? He absolutely has a photographic memory. Dang it, Nancy. He is perhaps an idiot savant. He's very, very sharp with some things, and obviously very dense with other things. Yeah, the kids would automatically go into their seats. Parents strict. Yes. Well, and that's not just them. I mean, in this day and age, I'm like that too, and I can't imagine. Once in a while, I'll see a parent driving with their kid not in a car seat, like a little kid, and I'm just like, are you kidding me? I hate to mention it because I don't like to criticize Britney Spears, but I know she did that. Like, she had her kid on her lap driving her car, and that's just nuts, especially when you're high profile like that. But even if you're not, um, completely crazy. So then you agree he's most likely easily capable to be mentally manipulated by certain evil chick. I do. Dang it, Nancy. I absolutely do. Um, yeah. The other thing that is said in that book is that he first met her in 2017, but she did a ropes course. She did like a weight loss challenge kind of thing at the children's hospital that Shanann worked at when Shanann worked there. So if you've ever seen that picture of NK climbing on the rope, it's like a net, kind of a rope net. Um, she knew, she Googled Shanann back then. And so it seems like she first met Shanann and then met Chris at the gym, and that she was kind of like the single white female, if you remember that movie from the 90s, that she was basically stalking Shanann and obsessed with Shanann, not just Chris. Yeah. Very evil. Vile. Absolutely vile, in my opinion. Thank you so much, darling. Merry Christmas. Thank you for this wonderful gift, Jazz. Oh, J.R. Nana Boomer. You are welcome. Thank you. He has no merit, and mother does Sammy, Sam I am. Oh, are you saying Real Justice has no merit? Because, yeah, I liked a lot of his content with the Sammy I Ammy stuff that he did until he was just kind of going off the rails, making these crude allegations about Scammy with some dudes. I just saw Squirrels on Fire! Yay! Nice to see you, Shan. Lovely to see you this evening. Let's see. Yeah, Merry Christmas, everybody. Anna Bean, hello, hello. I haven't seen Single White Female. Oh my goodness, Katie Bug. Jennifer Jason Lee, I think, is the one who plays the crazy girl. And Peter Fonda's daughter, I'm having trouble. Bridget Fonda plays the one that is getting stalked. It's a really good, really creepy movie. I highly recommend it. It's a thriller, definitely. Oh, let's see. How are you doing, squirrels? Merry Christmas, everyone. Ashley, nice to see you. Yeah. So let's see, where are we at? We're at 45 minutes. I was just coming on to do a quickie. So, yeah, I had all kinds of weird trouble with my phone at first, and then I decided to just turn it off and reboot it, and I think that fixed it. Yeah, definitely try to watch Single White Female. I think it's very educational, and especially in relation to NK with Chris Watts and Shanann. Unbelievable. That's an oldie but goodie, Single White Female. Yeah. So SWF is like how they put it in the newspaper. You know, SWF, Single White Female Seeking Roommate. Am I in a dream? Isn't this truly a no coming back from assault on our planet? Or am I being dramatic? I would think more people would be in arms about this. Well, Patricia, I think I think you're right on target. And yeah, it's bad. I think that people are just kind of removed from Maui because it's so far away. It's literally so far removed from the United States of America, and people don't seem to have the wherewithal in general to understand how those toxins, in my opinion, will pollute the whole planet, like you said. I don't think that that's being dramatic. I think that's being realistic. And I'm not saying that I'm right or you're right. Perhaps that's not accurate, but it seems like it probably is accurate, in my opinion. I was referring as the Peterson and Watts case similar because of certain cults that look for pregnant women and children as prey for their rituals. Ooh, dang it, Nancy, that's so creepy. Um, and I know that Scott Peterson tried to say that that was what had happened to Lacey, and I think that's a crock. It certainly seems like there could be some of that with NK, but I don't know that there is. But, you know, pregnant women are often victimized with domestic violence, unfortunately. Um, it's very rude, it's very despicable, it's very disgusting. Pregnant women are vulnerable, and of course the fetus is the most vulnerable. Um, yeah. Hey, Gray Pearl. Hello, hello. They don't understand it is America. Yeah, the whole thing with Hawaii is, I think it was our 49th state. I looked it up back when this started. You know, 49th and 50th are Hawaii and Alaska. And it's, there's always been such a tension with the native population and the white people. And it's hard to describe unless you've visited the islands. And if you've visited at all, I would think that you can't miss it. You just can't miss the tension. And dang it, Nancy, I like to say Harpo. Just, you know, I like to use the nicknames, just like with, in the Kylie case, I say Jägermeister and Hamburglar and Scammy. And with Maui, I like to say Harpo. And you know, the guy who started a social media platform is another one, right? I've been going over autopsy again, J.R. Nana. So how did she become so decomposed if she was found on her date of deceased? You know, I asked somebody in law enforcement about that very issue on another case, J.R. Nana, and I guess that the answer that I got, this was just checking with one law enforcement professional, is that that's how they do it. When someone has been missing and they're deceased, even though it might be obvious in the autopsy that they've been deceased a lot longer, that they use the date of recovery of their remains as like what you would put on their tombstone. So, because yeah, I was struck by that too. Like I said, it was another case that inspired me to contact someone and ask them. But yeah, the whole thing with her measurements, you know, her brain weighed 1,000, right? I mean, exactly 1,000 grams, I think. Units, whatever units it was, exactly 1,000. Sure. And then the lungs were so itty bitty, like the size of maybe a 1 or 2 year old. Her height, I think, was 3 inches shorter than her actual height in the autopsy, and her weight was 12 or 15 pounds less than her actual weight. And all of that is very suspicious. Just the whole, like, not having her DNA, her dental records, or family member ID her is very suspicious, in my opinion. And yeah, it's just disturbing, isn't it? I'm up in arms about so many things, Patty Hall says. I get kicked out of bars, car wash, grocery, because I'm loud. I'm doing the thing. Oh, that's terrible. I mean, funny, but that has got to be not fun for you or the people around you when that happens. Please share the petition after you sign it. If you cannot chip in, just share the link on your social media. Thanks so much for your support. Merry Christmas. Much aloha as well from Maui. Oh, Cosmic Empress, are you in Maui? Can we rename Scammy Slummy? That's a good one. It doesn't work. You might have put up a block link on your YouTube channel, so impossible to share the Maui petition. I don't know enough about the technology, but I'll make sure that I get the Maui petition in the description. I'll get that off of Eric West's channel. I know how to do some things. So yeah. So what else shall we talk about before we sign off and say Merry Christmas to all and to all a good night? The whole thing with the Idaho 4 case, the 1122 King or Queen Road residence, scheduled to be demoed on the 28th. Unbelievable to me. Really unbelievable. I can't imagine that it will actually happen. I hope that it doesn't happen, but at the same time, I won't be surprised if it does. And in my opinion, them demolishing it before a trial is an admission, like telling on themselves that they're hiding stuff. That's my take on it. I'm not in Maui. I'm in Norway. Hey, from the future, no problem. The autopsy is frustrating. Yeah, the autopsy is trash. It really is. It's garbage. I mean, they used whiteout on it. You can't use whiteout on an official document like that. Patty, I feel you. I just got over my Nancy's stab a hoe face after my husband passed. I still do Walmart pickup. It's safer for everyone. I just got over my Nancy's stab a hoe face after my husband passed. That's a wild phrase, Nancy. I'm very sorry about your husband passing. That's so stressful. Our next door neighbor's spouse just passed away the day before yesterday. Very, very sad and very stressful for sure. It does appear that way if they do demolish the house. Yeah, it appears that they're trying to destroy evidence. I mean, it is destroying evidence. So I'm convinced that that case is just a crock, that there's so much more to it, and there's so much going on with the Steve Gonzo and all that rigmarole with harsh reality. I think it's just unfortunate for Steve to have to put up with all that. I think it's pretty disgraceful, actually. You know, you don't have to share everything you know on your YouTube channel. You can keep your cards close to your chest about some things, and you certainly don't want to interfere with an investigation on your YouTube channel. And I would think that people can be charged with that in real life, in my opinion. Um, yeah, it's Watts the Obsession did a really good video a few days ago about some of that, about the rigmarole between Harsh and Steve Gonzo that everybody's been talking about. And you know, I just think it's unfortunate. I think it's interesting that the G family has an attorney, but none of the other families have an attorney that I know of. To me, that's an interesting piece of information all by itself. Let's see. Patty Hall says a lot of essays in Norway. Autopsy garbage, destroying the house garbage. Yeah. I know most squirrels know almost everything that can be known about what happened to Kylie, but you never know who might be listening and become a squirrel too. That's cute. Terrified here. Yeah. The anger was brutal, but I'm learning to laugh again. Yeah. I'm very sorry. If you want to share more, feel free about like how much time has passed and what it was that happened, if it was sudden or expected, or, I mean, it's just so hard losing someone. Losing people is so hard, and in these true crime cases, we are looking at these situations from afar where families have lost a loved one or loved ones in the most criminal way. I mean, literally criminal way. It's really gut-wrenching and heartbreaking, and I'm just very, very sad for... I remember a year ago with Idaho 4, I was kind of pleading on my channel for law enforcement to be able to make the arrest of the actual criminal who committed those 4 homicides. I was praying that they would get an arrest before Christmas so that the families could at least breathe and have some relief for during the Christmas holiday. And I thought that maybe I was just dreaming, that I was hallucinating, that, you know, 5 weeks had passed and nobody was arrested, and I was just like, man, can't they get it together? And then lo and behold, a week later, they did allegedly, apparently, get it together and arrest somebody. And that was quite a relief. That was right before New Year's. And it seems that it could be a sham. I mean, there's so many points in that case that I feel like I can hang my hat on. One, by itself, is the interview that the criminal defendant had with Chief Jenkins at Pullman Police Department, or not at the department, but for the department. They did a Zoom interview on April 12th of 2022, and there's record of that. There's record of emails being sent back and forth, and Koberger was one of 4 finalists, not just 4 applicants, but 4 finalists for the assistantship fellowship, so like a paid internship that it sounds like every year they had someone do that job, like from the doctoral program, that it was something that everybody in the doctoral program had to do something like that. So if he didn't get the gig with Pullman PD, he would have had to shop around and find another one. But why the secrecy of not ever releasing information if he got it or didn't get it or who did get it? That by itself tells me that something's up. Um, let's see. 2 years ago. Oh man, and that is not very long. That's like a blink of an eye. 30 years, gone in 2 weeks. Liver cancer. He knew 6 months prior and didn't tell me. At least I got to experience what true love was. A lot of people never get to experience that. That is the wildest story, Nancy, that he didn't tell you. That is, I've never heard of a spouse not telling their spouse. That is really wild. And I am so sorry. That is just tragic. My condolences, my deepest, deepest sympathy. My mother passed away nearly 2 years ago on March 7th, and or actually the 8th, I think. It seemed like it was going to happen on the 7th, and then it didn't happen until the 8th, but whichever day it was International Women's Day, which was very appropriate for her. But yeah, I think about her all the time, especially with the holiday. So I can only imagine for you with the holiday too. Need an arrest in Kylie's case. Exactly, CB. Exactly. And you know, if that audio tape, that alleged audio tape that CNY talks about recently, if that were an authentic tape, then yeah, that would change the just the whole landscape of the case, right? I mean, it would be implying that she was basically offed because she knew too much and because she was planning on talking. So, although I agree that she could have been rubbed out for something like that, for having information that people were afraid that she would share, I just don't think this audio tape is a real thing. I really don't. And I'm just really sick of bogus information coming out on the streets of YouTube. Really sick of it. So I hope that the content creator is checking her sources. I don't agree with putting content out there prior to checking your sources. I just, you know, there's information in cases that I have that I won't discuss because it would compromise the integrity of the case. You just don't do that. You just don't. Losing your parents is hard, but your spouse, yeah, I'm glad you got to spend your mom's last days together. Don't you feel her with you all the time? I do. I feel her with me all the time, Nancy, and I would imagine that you feel your husband with you all the time. And yeah, losing your parents is hard, but it's also kind of the natural progression of life. So losing your spouse, I think, is the hardest. Stress-wise, the emotional stress, your identity. I mean, it changes everything, right? I mean, and then all the complications of the things that you own together, the estate, the cars, automobiles, properties, clothing. I mean, all that stuff. I mean, it's such a process. It's so hard. I know. going through that with anyone, but especially your spouse. It's huge. And yeah, I was able to say goodbye to my mother for years because she was dying of kidney failure for 10 years that we knew of. So it was really nice to be able to say goodbye. Um, I'm not a fan of long goodbyes, but I can't imagine having somebody so close to you just so quickly without that. Losing a child is different. Yeah, that's unthinkable. Absolutely unthinkable. So sad. And so many people have survived it. Maybe some of you in the chat too. I shared a quote from someone I know personally a few years ago. He lost a child in a car crash. The kid was 6 years old. And a few years later, I said to him, I just don't know how you can go on after losing a child like that. And he said, yeah, I don't know either, but you do. And I shared that with the audience here on a video a few months ago. It was one of the most profound things anyone has ever said to me. Just, I don't know how you go on either, but you do. You know, he had a really hard time with it, and he was struggling still, of course. And I know people who've lost children who just, it's been maybe 20 years and it's still so so current for them. And even if they have many children, it doesn't matter. But especially for people who have just one child, that's got to be the most devastating. But no matter how many kids you have, unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. So yeah, you guys, let's give each other lots of positive vibrations. My hat says good vibrations from the Idaho 4Case. And, you know, just sending you guys light and love. Thinking about you on Christmas. I watched my mom and dad deal with the death of my brother, and then a few years later, my sister. Losing a child changes people forever. And you, Shan, to lose a brother, and then a sister, and then your mom, and then your dad. I am so sorry. That is so rough. And you're so young to have lost so many family members. You're only, what, 43 or so? Yeah. I found the note a couple hours ago. What note, JR Nana Boomer? What you talking about? You found the note a couple hours ago. I'm not sure at all what you are referencing. Please share. God bless you, squirrels. Thank you for what you do. My first email was squarely. Does that mean I'm on the squirrel squad? I think anybody that has passion for justice for Kylie can be in the squirrel squad, girl. Absolutely. And I think that you know, you don't have to be a content creator. You don't have to be on panels. You don't even have to be in the chat. I mean, you know, you can be a lurker and be on the squirrel squad, in my opinion. Read above. I can't go back too far because it will only let me go back so far. So I did try to rewind JR Nana, and I didn't see what you were referring to. Nixta says, Merry Christmas, beautiful lady. I meant squirrely. I figured, dang it, Nancy. Shan, I couldn't imagine. My heart goes out to you. And Squirrel says, I started this for Kylie, but uncovered so much more than I ever expected. Dang it, Nancy. And Katie Bug says a small child losing a parent is rough. To a distant family member, got into a wreck and seatbelt decapitated father's head and landed in daughter's lap. Took her years to talk. Unreal. So yeah, J.R. Nana Boomer, I tried to rewind. I don't know how I missed it. I don't know that I've been going over autopsy again. So how did she become so decomposed? Okay, is that what you're talking about? My brother-in-law wrote a note to my sister a few days ago before he passed. I don't know if I'll be alive in the morning. Help me. Oh, that is devastating. Absolutely devastating. Yeah. So it was, it sounds like self-harm then, J.R. Nana. That's so sad. So sad. That's got to be rough on your sister. And yeah, losing a spouse, having any family member self-delete like that is just absolutely devastating. The holidays always make us remember our past loved ones. And he passed a few years ago, lung cancer, found out less than 3 months. Oh, so it wasn't self-inflicted, so that's good. Wow, that is wild. You guys, sending you light and love. I hope that you are able to comfort yourself and find comfort with your pets and people around you, especially on the holiday. Noelle Marie 23 says, my best guy friend from high school went to a place for help with addiction and mental health, and they turned him away, and then he unalived self by stepping in front of a train. Oh, that's awful. That's so awful. Yeah, addiction and mental health are very challenging to combat, and I have a lot of compassion for people battling with either of those, but the two of them together. And then to be trying to get help and not able to, and I'm so sorry. Thank you. You thought you were off work tonight, LOL. It's not work, it's fun. I love you guys. Let's see. Is the channel of Danielle Salinger, and I promise you will love her. Yes, I'm going to check that out. I was surprised to find it in my Christmas wrapping paper tonight. Odd, but I believe he comes and visits me all the time. J.R. Nana, I'm glad you shared that, because yeah, I find things like surface in, that's what I call that, when a note like that just kind of shows up. It's like it just surfaces in your house, in your possession. It is interesting, isn't it? Very. I live alone and holidays are hard. So thank you for coming into our homes. Oh, Kathleen, that's so sweet. And that's really what one of the things that inspired me to come on is just, I know a lot of people struggle with Christmas, and I just was struggling not seeing my viewers myself, and so I just wanted to come in here and say hello and Merry Christmas, and I just wish you all the best. Thank you for letting us tell our life experiences, of course. Thank you for sharing. God bless you all. Have a very blessed Christmas, and tell the people you love them. What's going on there? Sultan C, what's going on there? And let's see. Dang it, Nancy says, my husband was so romantic. The love letters that I still find I cherish. That's adorable. That's really sweet. Wow. That's nice you have that. And at the same time, I'll share a thought that I have had in losing someone that you love. You know, there's that old saying, better to have loved and lost than to never have loved at all, which I definitely think is true. But when you're suffering the loss and the mourning and the grieving, it almost feels like you would have rather have not even experienced that love so that you wouldn't have to suffer from the loss. So, how would you say it backwards? Better to have never loved and lost than to have lost, I guess. I'm not very good at saying things backwards, if you guys haven't noticed that. It's kind of like a mental block that I have. Maybe part of my own, like, dyslexia or something. Anyway, Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. Yeah, I hope to see you guys very soon. And I do have a brand new laptop, so I'm doing this video on my cell phone. But I do have a brand new laptop in my possession, so we should be getting on with that shortly. So, sending you light, sending you love. Let's do that cute little heart again. Thought I was going to die of a broken heart and I would never stop crying. Funny, I've had contacts stuck in my eyes for weeks because my eyes are so dry. Yikes. Better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all. Right, that's the right way to say it. But then to say it backwards, it's better to have never loved than to have loved and lost. Like, so my point is that going through that pain and suffering, it almost feels like that. But it is such a gift to have been able to experience that, even though it absolutely sucks to go through that grief. OMG, my sister says that all the time. Dang it. Must be why I mentioned that note. Must be something for you. My heart goes out to you. Oh, that's cute. All right, you guys. Peace out. Light and love. Christmas joy. I hope that you have some Christmas magic. And Festivus for the rest of us, right? Good night, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me, and see you soon, hopefully. Take care.